I can't afford coffee, the poor girl admitted on blind date. The single dad CEO ordered two and smiled. When Mia walked into the coffee shop for her blind date, she clutched her worn-out purse nervously. Her dress was simple, the kind she had worn to job interviews, and her shoes had a small tear near the heel. She had almost cancelled that morning, afraid of humiliation, but something inside her whispered that she deserved at least one evening of hope. Her life hadn't been kind. After her father's death and her mother's illness, Mia had dropped out of college to work odd jobs. Most months, she barely managed rent and medical bills. The idea of dating, of romance, seemed like a luxury she couldn't afford. Yet her friend had insisted on setting her up with someone. Just try, Mia, her friend had said. You never know. So here she was, standing in a world where everyone else looked put together, while she felt like a mismatched piece in a polished puzzle. At a corner table sat her date. Tall, confident, yet approachable, with kind eyes that softened his otherwise sharp features. He wore a crisp shirt, a blazer casually draped over the chair, and a watch that probably cost more than her entire wardrobe. But when he looked up and smiled, the warmth in his eyes melted some of her fear. You must be Mia, he said, standing to shake her hand. I'm Daniel. They sat, and almost immediately, the barista came over. Daniel ordered a cappuccino without hesitation, then looked at her. And for you. Mia's throat tightened. The truth slipped out before she could stop herself. I can't afford coffee. The silence that followed seemed deafening to her ears. Heat rushed to her cheeks, and she wanted to sink into the floor. She had ruined everything. But Daniel didn't laugh. He didn't look pitying or shocked. Instead, he smiled, his voice gentle. Then it's a good thing this one's on me. Actually, make that too, he told the barista, ordering her favorite, black coffee with a touch of cream, guessing right. Mia blinked at him. You didn't have to. I wanted to, he interrupted softly. And for the record, honesty is more refreshing than any coffee I could order. That simple act of kindness began a conversation that neither of them expected. As the minutes turned into hours, Mia found herself laughing more than she had in years. Daniel wasn't like the men she had imagined a wealthy man might be, arrogant, dismissive, or entitled. He listened when she spoke, truly listened, as though her words mattered. Eventually, he shared his own truth. Daniel was a single father. His wife had passed away when their son was only 2, leaving him to raise the boy alone while managing a company. People see the CEO title and the tailored suits, he said, but they don't see the nights I stayed awake with a sick child, or the mornings I dropped him at daycare before a board meeting. Mia's heart ached and admired him at the same time. They were from different worlds, but pain and resilience were a language both understood. As their meetings turned into more dates, Mia's insecurities grew. She worried she wasn't enough for him, that she couldn't fit into his polished life. She told him once, with tears brimming in her eyes, I don't have anything to give you, Daniel. Not money, not status. I can't even buy a cup of coffee without counting coins. Daniel reached for her hand, his voice steady. Mia, you've already given me something no amount of money can buy, peace. When I'm with you, I'm not the CEO. I'm just a man who feels seen. But their journey wasn't easy. Daniel's colleagues questioned his choice, whispering about her background. Some of his family even accused Mia of being a gold digger, despite the fact that she refused his financial help. Every cruel comment was another wound, and more than once, Mia thought of walking away. What kept her was the little boy, Ethan. His smile when she read him bedtime stories, his trust when he slipped his small hand into hers, his laughter when she cooked him pancakes shaped like animals. To Ethan, she wasn't poor. She wasn't unworthy. She was simply, Mia, the woman who cared. One evening, after yet another tense family dinner where whispers followed her every move, Daniel pulled Mia aside. Do you know what I see when I look at you? He asked. Mia shook her head. I see the woman who makes my son laugh, who makes me want to leave work early just to sit across from her at dinner. I see the woman brave enough to walk into a blind date even when she thought she had nothing to give. You are not less, Mia. You are everything. Tears streamed down her face, but for the first time, they were tears of hope, not shame. Months later, at the same coffee shop where it all began, Daniel placed 2 cups on the table, just like before. But this time, he slid a small velvet box across the table. Mia, he said softly, you once told me you couldn't afford coffee. But the truth is, from that moment, you gave me something priceless, your honesty, your heart. And I want to spend the rest of my life making sure you never doubt your worth again. Will you marry me? Her hands trembled as she whispered, yes. In that little cafe, surrounded by the aroma of roasted beans and the hum of everyday life, a poor girl and a single dad CEO began a love story that had nothing to do with money and everything to do with faith, resilience, and choosing love despite the odds. And so, when Mia looked back on her life, she no longer remembered the night she admitted she couldn't afford coffee as a moment of shame. She remembered it as the night her world changed, the night honesty opened the door to love she never thought she deserved.